Hey, welcome. It's time to start Bollox Talks and Talks.
Where are we?
Troy, take two. Hey, now it's time to start Bollox Talks and Tangents. Blake hit me with a funny one right before we went on air. It's not my fault. It's not Lenny's fault. It's all Blake Blevins' fault.
That's 2 shows in a row, by the way. He's done that.
He knocked it out of the park on the other one, too. And what we try and do is before we go on air, we try and make somebody laugh. Blake's got his 2 shows in a row, so he's winning. But it's 6:34, and it's time to drink.
Ooh, baby.
And talk a little history. And tonight we're talking about college football legends.
Brought back a lot of fun memories for me. A lot of fun memories.
Yeah. No, I mean, and your school, does it have a football team?
Yes, it has a very fine football team.
Cornell has a football team?
Yes, they do. Does Ed Marinaro mean nothing to you?
Oh, yeah.
We had a football player once.
Yeah, he made great spaghetti sauce.
And then he became an actor. Actually, I think he played for the Minnesota Vikings for a couple of seasons, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. No, he 100% did.
Yep.
He had a brief stint in the NFL.
Right.
Like, I think it was about 4 or 5 years.
Yep. I think for the Vikings in particular, and I don't know if anybody else. And then he became a cop on Hill Street Blues. Mm-hmm. Or NYPD Blue, but I think it was Hill Street Blues back then.
Hill Street Blues, I believe.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're talking about college legends not from Cornell.
Right. Otherwise, we'd have a very short show.
College football legends, and you have Ed Marinaro, and Flagler College has, we got nobody. But we're still undefeated.
Right. Can't say that about Cornell.
No. I mean, your cheerleaders are super smart. I mean, they throw that spherical. I mean,
You know the wackiest thing, the marching band, because when I went to Cornell, I was,
you have a marching band too?
Yeah, but it's spooky. I was a trombone player. I was in the band, the pit band, the orchestra, the jazz band, all that stuff in high school, and the marching band, and the marching mustaches. We actually had you could hire us to do parades and stuff. But Cornell, it was If you decided to be in the marching band at Cornell, it was a pass-fail class. And if you missed one rehearsal, you failed.
Oh.
I said, gotta go.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Nope,
we're not doing that. One rehearsal.
One rehearsal, and you're out, failed.
Yeah, you can get a cold.
Yeah. And in Ithaca, you sure as hell could.
So
and we didn't even have to dot any I's like in Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the band leader leads you right out there.
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't have
drum major. No.
Yeah, you didn't have any eyes in Cornell.
No.
So. Oh, he's doing the whole dotting the I in there. Blake is dancing in the studio for us. You guys, it's a shame we don't have a studio camera going on.
We used to, but unfortunately someone broke it.
Someone broke the studio camera. That happens a lot in this show. All right, so
sponsors. Who's paying for this?
We're talking about that. We got our whiskey of the week up here, and that's our first sponsor. And they won the Bottle Cap Award.
Really? It's a new one.
Yeah,
they're just rolling them up.
No, it's the same one from last week.
The best tour? Okay.
I told I'd come back with a name. And St. Augustine Distillery, the best distillery in the country.
And, deservedly so. This is not a fluff award.
And we are drinking their port-finished bourbon, which they teamed up with the San Sebastian Winery, and we used their port to finish their bourbon. And this is a good sipping bourbon.
It's a little cold, but yeah, it's all right.
It's a little. I put ice in yours.
I forgive you. I truly do.
Yeah.
But it's watering down my bourbon.
You're allowed 3 more digs at me because I did that. I did it out of habit.
No problem.
I cleaned out your.
Right. Thank you very much for that.
It didn't look great.
I told you the alcohol would have cured anything or killed anything.
But this port is one of their finer products that they have over there, and congratulations to the entire team. You guys worked so hard. And their sister company, Citygate Spirits, amazing flavors over there. If you get a chance, get over there. Take both tours. Yeah. You're not going to be disappointed in either one. Do them on 2 separate days so you're not snockered all day.
Right. And I think for next week, I'm going to try to remember. If I remember, I'm going to try to bring in a mixer of some nature so we can play with some of those fabulous Citygate spirit flavors.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's tough to do a little bit of it straight.
I can call Will and see if they have some concoctions that they suggest.
That's a good idea because the flavors are just fabulous there at Citygate Spirits.
They are. They really are. All right. Last but not least, I think you were there last night.
Mehans.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I turned some new friends on, some of my neighbors, old friends, but new people to Mehans, onto the Irish cream, and boy, were they happy. Oh, that stuff is just
It's so
rich
good.
and delicious and fresh. Oh, it's so good.
All right.
So good.
Abear Kresge and Associates.
Oh, and by the way, poignant note. Today is the anniversary of John Meehan's passing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I loved the Mehans and the Mehans family and everybody who's a team Mehan over there. So.
Yep, absolutely. So, thank you, John, for opening in St. Augustine. You're missed, know that, but your legacy will live on and does live on.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep, for sure.
Abear Kresge and Associates. These guys are the best CPAs in town. We were talking to Billy just the other night. Big Georgia fan, by the way.
Ooh, good for him.
So one of his guys is on my list.
Oh, yeah, just one?
Yeah, it's not Buck Blue.
No.
Okay, so just in case you were wondering. So one of his guys is on my list over here. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They do an amazing job. They do the Colonial Quarter. They have over 800 artifacts, original artifacts of different pirate things. Every drawer you pull open, you're like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. And so get over there and check out St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
And don't think it's a kids' museum, too. It's great for children. It really is, because the little scavenger hunt keeps them busy. They can look around. They can pull things open and hunt around. But, adults, too, are going to get fascinated by stuff there.
I'm not going to lie. I play with the cannon a lot. Not going to lie.
Boom.
Doesn't make me a bad person.
Nope.
All right. Kaiser's Deli and Market, and I think we owe Kaiser a visit this week. We have not done Team Bollox.
Well, that's true. We haven't done it as a team, but speak for yourself, because I did have lunch there on Tuesday.
Oh, you did?
I did. I met a friend of mine there.
Blake and I need to show our love.
Okay. Well,
so
could be tomorrow.
Blaker, you can't do it tomorrow. He gave me a no on that.
Can't be tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow if you want.
I can do it.
All right. I'll meet you there tomorrow.
All right. We will nail down a time.
Sure.
I got to write a couple leases, and if you
that's good.
If you need a lease written up at an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment downtown, give me a call at Coquina Coast Realty. Number is 904-669-7901.
Very nice.
Looking for office space? I'm your guy. And we're taking over an entire new building starting in December. Very large building. Coquina Coast Realty is taking over, so we're excited about that too.
Nice.
Office buildings.
Okay.
So,
looking forward to the 411 when it's public information.
Yep. So it goes over tomorrow to see if they sign it.
Okay.
And that gets us right into word origins.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. You go first, because
Is yours football related?
of course.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go first because. Mine is not football related, but I found it interesting as I was reading about it, and the more I read about it and how it came to be. And it is the word malaria. All right. And it came from 2,500 years ago.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it
2020. 2020. It's a recent
it was
term.
definitely an AD term.
Yeah.
All right. But around Rome, everything around Rome in that time was marshland. All right. And the marsh, if you've ever lived near a marsh, you live in Florida, you ever been near a marsh, when the tide goes out or when any movement and it becomes low, it becomes a foul smell. All right. Malaria actually means spoiled air. So it has a bad smell to it. Spoiled air. R-A meaning air.
Mallow meaning bad.
Yes. Discontent. Is it,
Maldemare. Malnutrition.
Malpractice.
There you go.
But because of where the marsh was, if you were in the marsh, there was a lot of mosquitoes. And if you worked in the marsh, you had a higher chance of getting
malaria.
And that's where it came from. It came from spoiled air because they thought it was the marsh that was created, but it was actually the mosquitoes in the marsh.
And and it's frighteningly timely, Troy, in the fact that malaria is kicking around again in Africa, and you've been to Africa, and you told me the most difficult part of that entire journey was getting your shots.
As far as malaria side goes, you got shots, but you had to take medicine a week before you went, and the entire time you were there, and a week after you were there, and that medicine Let's just say it cleaned you out.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Hey, I could volunteer for some of that. Lose a couple pounds here, lose a couple pounds there.
Yeah, it's yeah.
On the other hand, that's a really good reason to drink gin and tonic.
Yeah.
The quinine is one of the cures for malaria.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, if I could stand gin.
Well, you can drink a vodka and tonic.
Okay.
A rum and tonic.
I don't really like
Getting
tonic.
closer.
Yeah.
Oh well, then it's not the gin that's the problem in that case.
We're gonna let it the whiskey and water.
Fair enough. But again, it's timely in the fact that depending on where you are, the mosquitoes are getting feisty and causing a whole lot of illnesses for people. I mean, places where you don't even think of mosquitoes as a something that you should be concerned about. Massachusetts has called curfews in some of their counties there because Tripoli equine encephalitis is a mosquito-borne disease it's struck a bunch of people in Massachusetts.
Yeah, but I bet their mosquito control's not as advanced,
Sophisticated. True.
As Florida.
Yeah, but you also got
encephalitis, West Nile,
dengue. They're all percolating.
Yeah.
They're all percolating. Dengue is, I forget where it was, but I just read that the dengue is perked up someplace else, and I'm not even talking about Puerto Rico where it's prevalent. And West Nile used to be a big issue on Long Island for a couple years, 5 or 7 years ago, and our friend Dr. Fauci was stricken with West Nile.
Yeah.
He should know better.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and they sacrifice these chickens just for us, too. The West Nile chickens.
Ooh.
That's what they do. They put little feeder chickens out and see
Really?
if they get the West Nile. Because they can carry West Nile if it's out there.
Okay.
And that's where they know it's present in the area.
Well, that's not good.
They have chickens that they put out in random areas just so they can get bit by mosquitoes.
Do they fry them afterwards?
I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if you can cook out West Nile.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
But it's spooky, And we've got a dear friend who is involved in a business that is trying to eradicate the evil mosquitoes. Now it's not like there's a mosquito. There's I don't know hundreds, but there's many different species of mosquitoes. There's the Aegis, and there's a couple others that I couldn't even begin to pronounce. But this organization has come up with a way to sterilize the male mosquito, and they let them go back into the population and have as much fun as possible, but it ends the cycle of the mosquitoes because they don't reproduce.
Yeah.
And that's one way to combat mosquito-borne diseases.
Yeah. And I know you're going to find this shocking, but I'm not a very religious man.
Wow.
And this is why, and mosquitoes are the reason I'm fairly confident that the story of Noah is not true. There is no way in hell any human being would have allowed 2 mosquitoes on that damn ark.
Maybe they just followed along.
No.
They hitchhiked on an elephant's ear.
No, it's not happening. He had inventory.
Right. Next. Passport, identification.
Yeah, come on.
Take your shoes and your belt off. Let's go. Next.
Just a friendly housefly. No. Get your ass out of here. Yeah, no, it's not happening.
Yeah, then at this. Well, they let the green flies on too, apparently.
Sure.
Yeah, right. Candy Grand for Mongo.
But the mosquito, green flies are a pest.
Right.
But mosquitoes kill people.
Right.
They're probably the top killer.
As a matter of fact, you're right.
Out there, waterborne disease,
yes,
because they create more waterborne disease. I bet mosquitoes kill more people than any other animal.
I think you're right.
So, Blake, can you look that up? Blake's on it. Research team.
Look at him
Sorry,
go.
I might have woke him up.
Look at him go. I'm looking it up.
I might have woke him up.
All right.
All right. So, what's your word order?
Okay. Well, mine is red shirt.
Red shirt.
Red shirt.
Yeah. If I slap a mosquito, I usually have a red shirt.
Yeah. Well, if you get them at the right time, for sure. Yes, Blake.
I got it right here. Mosquitoes cause more human suffering than any other organism. Over 1 million people worldwide die from mosquito-borne diseases every year.
Thank you.
Yeah. Number 1 killer.
Yep, we got it.
Yeah.
We need a wanted poster in the post office.
If Noah did know about the mosquito and let him on, I'm still pissed at him.
There you go.
But also though, the number 2 killing organism to humans, O.J. Simpson at 2 a year.
Well, I guess it's timely for our
know-
topic, but that's
he
a little.
He was funny right before the show.
I know.
I swear he
I
was.
know. I was a witness to
He
it.
went too far.
I was.
He went too far that time.
I was.
Yeah.
But he's pleased. But he's pleased with himself, and that's all that matters.
He's just
Look at that
bouncing-
smile on
He's
that
just
boy.
bouncing up and down with his own humor. All right.
Okay, so red shirt. Now,
Red shirt.
now there's two of them. There's the football concept of a red shirt, which is twofold. One, it's basically when you red shirt, you come in as usually a freshman and you sit out a season, which extends your eligibility.
Yes.
So that's if you're buried behind a couple of better players, but they're upperclassmen, and they want you to stay on the team because your talent is such. They want you to play, but you're not going to break in right away. You redshirt, and you don't lose a year of eligibility, so it extends your eligibility. Also, there's a physical red shirt that you wear at practice, as do a lot of the skill players, like Aaron, what's his name, Rodgers, this punk ass guy for the Jets. That'll stir some controversy.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see that game, by the way.
You're a Jets fan?
No.
You're a Giants fan, right?
No.
What are you?
A Raiders fan. Not anymore. I'm a Jags fan. John Gruden ruined the Raiders for me. I was a Raiders fan forever. Ever. Love my Raiders. And then John Gruden became the coach, and I was tearing shirts and covering mirrors. It was ugly. The best thing they ever did was fire his ass, and they're still paying
That's
for
when
it, too.
they had Gannon, right? Rich Gannon?
Rich Gannon,
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett, Ken Stabler, Darryl LaMonica, the Mad
but
Bomber.
No, I mean, when Gruden was there, they had Gannon.
Was it?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Because that was they were
so.
doing a version of the West Coast. I
But
thought.
Gannon won. Gruden didn't.
What? Wait, hold on. The year Gannon went to the Super Bowl, that was the year John Gruden won with the Buccaneers.
Right. Yeah, Gruden did nothing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Gannon-
let's be real though. Was that a tuck?
Oh, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
stop.
Oh, are you talking about the Brady thing?
Yeah.
Oh, the
It
whiny
was-
Patriots, forget them.
Yeah. Well, no, they got away with it.
I know.
They got away.
They get away with everything.
So they got away
Pretty
with
boy wins. So anyway, but so yeah, and then if you're a fragile individual like Aaron Rodgers, if he went to training camp at all, wore a red shirt, which means non-contact. So I mean, you wear the red shirt when you're on the practice field. It's non-contact. Don't touch me. I'm very delicate. And if you red shirt for a season, you sit out for the season to extend your eligibility. Now, in historical context, there were red shirts that were significant of political movements in particular. And one in particular, the biggest one was in the 1860s to 1867, Giuseppe Garibaldi. Giuseppe, yes. I'm related to him. I'm related to every Italian because my grandfather was an orphan. So that gives me credibility to claim
100%.
everybody. If it's a good Italian, Machiavelli, Christopher Columbus, Garibaldi, Leonardo da Vinci, I claim progeny to all of them because my grandfather was an orphan and disprove me.
I have one leg of my tree that disappeared in the late 1800s because of a bar fight. We couldn't.
Oops.
He died in a bar fight.
Ooh.
Shocker.
Yeah. Slash.
I know.
Ouch.
So it was on my grandfather's side, but
Here in the United States?
he died here in the United States. But they all got here, from that side. And like when I did the genealogy, the 23andMe, me whatever.
Yeah.
You know how they have the circle and you have the pie chart.
Yes.
Every different place where you're from.
Yeah.
Mine's one all color. Exactly. It's just a blob.
From?
From Wales,
Okay.
England, and Ireland.
Okay.
You can throw a blanket over the entire region where every origin of my family came from one origin.
And it's funny, and mine was really pretty cut and dried. It was 50% Eastern European Jewish, which don't get me started on how that's an ethnicity or nationality, because it's conflating things, but I get yelled at all the time for that. And it was 48% Italian and 2% French. And that was the confusing part.
Yeah.
So, because my father's mother and father were both born in Italy and came to the United States. They met in Hoboken, down the block from Frank Sinatra. My father was born in Hoboken, but my mother's family came from Eastern Europe, from Austria and Russia, and then came to England and
That's
then
where
came to
you
the
got
United
your
States. Yeah. Not from my father. I tower over everybody in my family.
I do too. I'm a giant.
Yeah, so, but Garibaldi, in his attempt to the unification of Italy, his volunteer army, which was pretty big at the time, wore red shirts, which were gifts to them because the red shirts were supposed to go to slaughterhouses, which, if you think about it, makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're doing butchering and everything, you're getting covered in blood. So if you wear a red shirt, it doesn't show.
Yep.
So that's the red shirts.
All right. All right. We got a lot of stuff we can talk about.
Oh, baby.
This show could go anywhere at any time.
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
There you go.
All right. I have a list. I have a list down here. I wrote down some names of ones I want to talk about, but legends of college football. When I say that, what was the first? We talked about it on Tuesday night. What was the first name that came to mind?
Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin, because he won 2 Heisman.
2 Heisman. Yep. Most recently, dotted the I at the Ohio State game.
Okay.
He was the dot on the I. Wonderful man. Still, I think he's retired, but still lives in the area. And for years afterwards, worked for the university in athletic development, alumni development. And the guy's just, I mean, I remember yes, you have a question?
Go. Keep talking. Good. Keep going.
He's giving us.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. I'll read his motions. You keep going with
Thank you very much. But, for me, it's a great memory because I remember, as a kid, back when, you could count on the Big 8, the Pac-10, and there were only those numbers of teams there instead of the Pac-49 and the Big 36 that's today, with no geographic reality at all. Because
Big 10 was 17 teams.
Right, and the Atlantic Coast Conference.
I think Blake is ready to say something.
He's
now.
been trying.
What are you trying to get in there?
I was just going to say my legend next before you interrupt me, but
who's interrupting who here?
Yeah, he just stepped.
Just out of curiosity.
Stepped all over Lenny.
Just out of curiosity.
He just stepped all over. Blake is cocky today.
He's on fire. I'm telling you.
I don't know what he ate.
Hey.
I don't know.
Hey.
He was sorting out the liquor today. I'm a little concerned that he was into the liquor cabinet.
Hey. A sip or two.
Hey, you actually finally have a son that actually finally takes lead for once. That just sits behind you all the dang time.
The boy be spreading his wings. Yeah. All right.
Hey, he's walking home.
All right.
You hitch, I'll pick you up. Don't worry.
All right, fine then. Hey, by the way, what's in the cup, by the way?
Soda. All right, Blake, what the hell were you going to say?
All right, here. Do you mind if I tell you my legend? Because unfortunately, it's a little bit of a different era compared to Lenny.
Okay, well,
I'm a little bit older than you as well.
I don't think he was done with Archie.
Go ahead, Lenny.
No. I'm intrigued by this now.
Now this better be freaking good.
It's not. It's Tim Tebow.
Oh, you homer, you.
I can tell you this.
That buildup was not worth it.
Ricky? No, it completely was not. But the Swamp Kings were really good. It was a really good show. Have you watched Swamp Kings, Lenny?
No.
You should watch it.
I'm familiar with it.
It is really good. Archie Griffin won 2 Heismans. Tim Tebow legitimately could have won 2.
Yeah.
So I can go with your legend being where you're at.
Now, obviously he wasn't as good in the NFL, but those 4 years though were fantastic.
He won more national championships than Archie.
Tebow, yeah.
Yeah, he won 2.
Yeah, he won 2 with Spurrier, yeah.
Yeah. He went with
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Oh, okay.
Urban Meyer. Spurrier's the other legend who also won a Heisman.
Right.
And won some national championships as a coach. All right. So when I asked this question, I went immediately to my time frame.
Okay. So you're about 10 years after me.
Yeah. You went to yours, which was in the 70s, which is Archie.
Right. And I remember because I enjoyed watching those Saturday afternoon games with my father, sitting on the couch and watch. Yeah. And that's very poignant memories of me watching college football with my father.
And the 2 that came to mind immediately for me is Bo Jackson, who I think is the greatest athlete who's ever lived. He did some things on the baseball field that, as a baseball player, blew my mind.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Climbed up walls.
Blew my mind. He hit a 2-hopper as a right-handed batter in a Double-A baseball game and beat it out in Orlando on a very good shortstop and just it was one of those things where it's like humans aren't supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And he did it at 250 pounds.
Yep.
What he did on a football field at Auburn
Oh, what about for the Raiders too?
was phenomenal. Well, I mean, yeah, if you go to the pros, it was
Right.
also just
Yeah.
absolutely
I
impressive.
still see him running through the tunnel after that run.
But the other one, and I've never met Bo Jackson personally. I did get to meet Herschel Walker personally. I was a ball boy for the Stars, Philadelphia Stars USFL team, and they came in. I think he was with the Washington.
He played with the Generals. Yeah, he played for Donald Trump's Washington Generals.
Yeah.
Another failed organization.
Well, they were doing great until Donald Trump goes, let's move it to the fall.
Right.
Yeah, and that's when it failed.
Well,
but Herschel
another good idea, Don.
Herschel Walker could possibly be Archie Griffin, not taken away.
Right.
Could possibly be the greatest college running back of all time.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, I've read stories where when he was playing for Minnesota, and people would try to tackle him, and they said it was like trying to tackle a cement wall. The man had no body fat on him. It was amazing. Yeah, I had an old track coach. yes, ladies and gentlemen, I ran track in high school, only to stay in shape for the soccer season mostly. But I had a track coach in high school by the name of Billy Katz, who went down to Georgia as a conditioning coach and as an assistant football coach down there. And he was basically one of Herschel's coaches down there. And he would talk about this guy like he was the second coming.
Yeah. So the list I have, and we all went through our favorites. Mm-hmm. All right. The list I have as the top 5 all-time college football people.
Okay.
All right. And you can't argue with any of these being your answer. All right. I mean, you really can't argue with any of these being your answer. Jim Brown.
Absolutely.
All right. Syracuse. But he only had 26 touchdowns and 2,000 yards as a running back at Syracuse. But this is the crazy part. All right. He earned 10 varsity letters in 4 sports at Syracuse.
Yep.
Basketball, football, lacrosse, and track. All right. He led the nation in kickoff return average in 1955, rushing touchdowns in 1956, and he became the first unanimous All-American and led the Orange to the Cotton Bowl. He also was a place kicker and scored 43 points on 6 touchdowns and 6 extra points in a 61-7 decision over Colgate in 1956.
Okay, so he played from 54 to 56?
Yes.
And the only reason he would not be considered for the Heisman Trophy was because he was black.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man should have been a hands down Heisman Trophy winner. And his skin color and racial animus kept him from being a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep. All right. Archie Griffin is number 4. Herschel Walker is number 2.
Okay.
Bo Jackson they have ranked number 3. And at number 5, this is the man I consider the greatest athlete of all time.
Oh, Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe.
Absolutely.
And he played.
Absolutely.
Wait, let's ask Blake this one. If he's got this
one.
All right. Blake, do you know what college or university Jim Thorpe played for?
I'm going to say he played for... Ooh, that's a good...
How quick can you type?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to...
Give him time.
I'll
tell you this.
It wasn't Eureka.
There was a school here
Yes.
in St. Augustine by the same name.
Yep.
Oh, Carlisle.
There you go.
Very good.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Hey, his internet just kicked in.
I know.
Hey!
I know. That's why we're stalling for him. We make him look good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but these are the top 5, and you can't take away from any of those.
No. I mean,
being the answer.
Well, so where was Ricky Williams on that list?
Ricky was pretty far down. He was in the 30s, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the 30s. The first defensive player was at number 8. And this is The only person on this list I've had dinner with. You have any idea who it might be?
Well, I'd say Dick Butkus.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
Dick Butkus lived in DeLand after his
No
football
shit.
career was over. His son, Ricky, who I'm still in contact today.
Well, that's right. I remember now you told me this,
Matt,
yeah.
And Matt played on my Little League baseball team.
Yep.
So, and Dick Butkus is considered the number one defensive college player of all time.
You know, it's funny because I was looking at my list of, prominent college football players, and you go down: Archie Griffin, Herschel Walker, Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Earl Campbell, O.J., Ricky Williams, Jim Brown, Jim Thorpe, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton. You go through all of them before you get to Dick Butkus as a defensive player. Then you got Joe Burrow, Hugh Green, a defensive player.
Hugh Green finished second in the Heisman.
Yep.
And just was a beast.
Yep.
All right. And,
Orlando Pace is a lineman for Ohio State.
yeah, I think,
And,
he made a lot of money in the pros.
Yep.
All right, Dick Butkus, take a guess of what his tackles per game was at Illinois.
I have no idea, but I'll read you a quote after you tell me.
14.4.
Oh.
He was averaging 14.4 head-on collisions every game.
Now,
Wow.
now, did it count half tackles as well, or like?
There was no such thing as a half tackle if
Right,
you ever watched
yeah.
Butkus.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So-
he hit you with everything he had.
So I think it was Dan Jansen, but there was a sports writer who did an article on him for Sports Illustrated, and the quote was, "If every college football team had a linebacker like Dick Butkus of Illinois, all fullbacks soon would be 3 feet tall and sing soprano."
Yeah,
Yep,
I saw that.
yep. And the award, there's the Butkus Award
Yes.
for the best linebacker.
Well, and we had a local person win it here on the high school level.
Okay.
He won the Butkus Award, and he went on to play at Clemson, and he played at Buffalo, and went to New Orleans. Tony. So, and Blake, you know Tony very well.
Yeah, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart.
Don't recognize the name.
Great young man. Happy he's a part of our family, and took care of Ty for a little bit for us.
Nice.
Just a wonderful young man. Just got married last year. So
Congratulations.
yeah. So Tony played at Pedro Menendez.
Okay.
But Dick Butkus really didn't want to talk about football when you were at the house.
Yeah.
He was. It was probably 3 or 4 years after he was out of football. He said it made him a bad man. It made him do things. He was a very
Well, it was a violent sport, and he was a violent man in games.
He became a fairly religious man.
Really? Okay.
Kind of drifted away from that, but he had to kind of rebuild himself and get himself mentally where he needed to be.
Well,
but I can tell you, just I was a baseball guy, and I didn't really know who he was, so I was never starstruck by him.
right.
Until I figured out later, like how great he actually was.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ricky and I stay in contact still.
That's great.
He works in California in the movie industry.
Oh. The thing with that is when you play at that level, when you're that focused, when you're that dominant, and I would think almost as a defensive player more than an offensive player, at college and into the pros, there needs to be some halfway houses to broker people back into polite society.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to stop that behavior and act like a civilian, because you're so amped up and you're so focused on what you need to do. And it's football, so there's no way to say that it's not violence driven. The violence isn't the issue, but it's the nature of the game is a violent game. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this season with the new kickoff rules.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think some of the things they're doing is good. Some of the things they're doing is not so good.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about a gentleman who won the Heisman, but he couldn't go into the NFL immediately because he went to a military academy.
Oh, okay.
Probably one of the greatest
Yep.
college quarterbacks.
Yep.
Most of the people were talking about were running backs when we were talking about college.
Yeah, I looked at that list to see, who were quarterbacks and who weren't quarterbacks nor running backs.
Yeah. And Roger Staubach is who I'm talking about.
I figured.
So he went to the Naval Academy. couldn't go into the NFL. Had to do a tour of duty in Vietnam first. He won the Heisman in '63. But he won. He ended up winning a couple Super Bowls.
Dallas Cowboys.
With the Dallas Cowboys. But he had to wait until his military experience was over before he could join the NFL.
Yep.
So I think that makes him a legend in his own right.
For so many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, just looking up during Starbuck's time with the Naval Academy, he actually found that during his junior year at the Naval Academy that he was colorblind.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Which quarterback for a university was it? Kozar
Yes.
that discovered he was colorblind, and he blamed that on how they lost to Penn State.
Was it
Who was the quarterback?
Kozar
or
it was a Florida kid? Yeah.
Was it? It was University of Miami.
Right. So was there a quarterback there with a T?
Testaverde.
Yeah, then I think it was Kozar. I don't think it was Vinny Testaverde. Wasn't
I
Kozar.
don't think it was Testaverde, and I got those two confused.
Yeah.
Both of them had very, very good pro career.
Right, exactly. And one of them was, and I don't remember his. Yeah, I don't think it was Vinny Testaverde.
All right.
All right. So now, who's the only other Heisman Trophy winning quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
Heisman winning quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Only two of them.
All right, Bart Starr, because Horning would play quarterback in college, but he didn't really play much he never played in the pros. I'm working my way through it. Lynn Dawson didn't do it. Greasy, no, he didn't do it. He didn't win the Heisman.
You're in the right conference.
Okay.
You're in the right division.
I'm in the right division of college.
No, of pros.
Of the pros.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm in the AFC.
West.
So not Namath.
Namath never won the Heisman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not Namath. He didn't win the Heisman. And it's easier to go through the Super Bowls than it is to go through the Heisman.
Correct.
Jim Plunkett?
Oh!
Look who's there. You betcha, baby.
Did you Google it? Yeah. Oh, man.
Come on.
And he
went to Stanford.
It was kind of at the end of his career, too.
Oh yeah, he was a comeback player.
He was a backup, and then because he was he with the Cardinals?
He might have been, but he won it with the Raiders.
He won it definitely. Well, the Cardinals never won anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Plunkett was a solid player.
Absolutely.
And he didn't win it until the '80s, I don't think.
Correct.
I think he won it with the early '80s.
It was. I would say it was Tom Flores was the coach at the time. Then I don't think that was.
It was after.
I don't think it was John Madden.
It was after Madden.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's see.
Plunkett.
Yeah, it might have been the Kenny. It might have been the year they beat Philadelphia.
Yeah. So he won in 80 and 83. Well, 81 and 84. So
I don't think he started one of those years.
No.
I don't think he was the starter in one of those years. But you can Google that. I think he only started one of them.
Yeah, I like Jim Plunkett a lot. Native American blood. Parents are blind. Went to Stanford. What's bad about that resume? Mm-hmm. And he was a Raider.
Yeah.
When they mattered.
Yeah. When they were cool.
Screw you, John Gruden.
Yeah. When they were cool.
Little Chucky.
Chucky.
I have such disdain for that man.
Right.
He ruined Monday Night Football for me as well.
And Blake asked this question before going on air. Best player, college player you can think of that never won the Heisman. And my answer was pretty quickly, and I think he ended up being an amazing pro, but he never won the Heisman, and that's Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So Deion came to mind.
Yep. Jerry Rice.
But if you really want to go there, you got to go to Jim Thorpe because the Heisman didn't exist.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
and interesting, I wonder if they would have given him consideration, being the fact that he was a Native American.
He probably wouldn't have won.
Yeah, so only walk on to win the Heisman Trophy. I told you this earlier.
Only walk on to win. Oh, you said
Baker Mayfield. I got a real kick out of that. Yep.
That's pretty wild.
Two red shirts won the Heisman. Mm-hmm. Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel.
Okay.
And Jameis Winston.
All right. Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Oh, he redshirted because he transferred and did some other stuff.
Yep.
All right. I got a question for you because you are half Jewish.
I am.
All right.
That's the left half.
Only Jewish to win a Heisman. Only Jewish person to win a Heisman.
Why do I know that I should know this? It wasn't Doc Blanchard. We're going way back.
It's actually a trick question. It's Ron Goldman's dad. He won O.J. Simpson's Heisman in the
Oh,
civil
God. Jesus. He just made Blake happy. That's too funny.
He's the only Jewish to ever win a Heisman.
You know,
and he won it in a lawsuit.
I got news for you, and he's lucky OJ is dead, because otherwise he'd break in and try to steal it back. He'd try to steal it back.
Yeah.
Schmuck ended up in jail for that.
Yeah.
He didn't get in jail for murder he may or may not have committed, but he gets arrested for trying to steal back his own memorabilia.
Yeah, in Vegas.
In Vegas.
There's never any cameras in a Vegas.
Oh, God forbid.
All right, we got to talk about sponsors real
Please
quick.
do.
And then we're going to get right back into it because I want to get into some coaches, some great college moments that really stick out in your mind. All right, Coquina Coast Realty, give me a call, 904-669-7901. Kaiser's Deli and Market, get over there. I think Lenny and I are going to have a lunch
there tomorrow. I'm psyched.
I'm going to do the Bollox, half pastrami, half turkey.
Yep.
St. Augustine Pirate Museum, these guys have been with us since the very beginning. Thank you, Cindy. Your entire crew is amazing. They have multiple restaurants over there and the Colonial Quarter, which they have amazing music. Aver Kresge.
Doing a lot of reggae there, too. Good stuff at the Colonial Quarter now.
Really
They
good music.
got some good bands coming up there, for
Really
sure.
good music.
Check it out.
Aver Kresge and Associates, if you have any accounting needs whatsoever, give them a call over there at Aver Kresge and Associates. They're the best CPAs in town. Meehan's Irish Pub, 3 bars in one, just a wonderful night.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Wonderful food. You will not be disappointed. You'll be entertained. People watch and have a great view of the Intercoastal. All right, these guys, City Gate Spirits and St. Augustine Distillery, the best tasting tours in town. And let me tell you, St. Augustine Distillery just won the Bottle Cap Award for Best Distillery in the United States. All right.
And like I said, that's not a fluff award. Their whiskeys are great.
All right, let's get back into it.
All right, real quick. So speaking about Jewish Heisman winners, the closest person to ever do it was actually Sid Luckman.
There you go.
But maybe he finished third in Heisman voting, unfortunately.
Okay. He would sling the ball, wouldn't he?
Like I said, my question's still valid. I said who won the Heisman.
Right.
He won the Heisman. That's
Ron Goldman, yep.
I think he might have melted it. So Ron Goldman's dad, still the winner. All right. Only person to have a losing record and win the Heisman. They only won two games, and yet he still won the Heisman.
It was I want to say the guy from Army. It wasn't Doc Blanchard. We talked about this on Tuesday. It just shows you how bad my short-term memory is.
Oh.
Wasn't Doc Blanchard. How many fingers am I holding up?
I got it right. Here, Lenny, do you have a guess?
You know it?
No.
I'm surprised if you do know this.
Because was he technically a quarterback that actually turned into a running back in the pros?
Yes.
Paul Hornung.
Yeah.
There you
Paul
go. Okay.
Hornung.
Yeah.
Paul Hornung. They only won 2 games. They were supposed to be like one of the best teams of the year.
Who did he play for in college?
Notre Dame.
Okay.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. So Notre Dame got some Heismans that they probably didn't deserve.
Yeah.
They went 2-8 that year.
Well, but when Paul Hornung was a pro, he played for Green Bay. He played for Vince Lombardi. He was in Green Bay. And that was back in the days where, first of all, you needed a job to support yourself because football wasn't paying your way. And these were the guys, and he was a big gambler. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys would stay out to 2, 3 in the morning drinking and gambling and then go play football the next day. Those were tough guys.
Yeah.
Those were tough men.
All right. My next guy, and I swear this guy won the Heisman in 1984 because of one play. You know who it is?
Yeah, you're talking little Dougie.
Dougie.
Yeah.
Flutie Flakes.
Yep.
Flutie Flakes. And I hated Doug Flutie until he started to be a supporter.
Well, he's big on autism. Right.
Autism.
Right. His heart's in the right place. He does good things now.
And one is on the same little league team. His brother-in-law played on that same little league team.
As Dick Butkus' kid?
Son.
Nice.
And Scott Morgan, who was on that little league team, his dad was one of the coaches, and on the same team. So Doug Flutie, I have an association with my little league team with Dick Butkus and Doug Flutie from the same little league team.
Man, that must have been some very clenched umpires. If you looked over to the sideline. Now, Flutie isn't intimidating you because he's a little guy. He's like my size. Yeah, well, maybe he's an inch or two taller,
Flutie
but not
blends
much.
in.
Yeah,
Flutie
right.
blends in.
Dick Butkus? Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you know what? Dick Butkus was big for that time.
Yeah.
You throw him into today's
Oh,
football,
well, monsters.
he wouldn't be able
Yeah.
he wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to match up.
Yeah.
So I think he would figure out how to get that size, but he wouldn't be able to match up.
Well-
but I mean, yeah, at that time, yeah, Doug Flutie wouldn't match up. But and I put Doug Flutie in that situation like you watched the documentary on the Dream Team. You ever see that?
Yeah.
All right. You see where John Stockton, like they got caught in traffic, and John Stockton takes a camera and gets out and starts walking, and no one knows it's him.
Right.
Because he just blends in.
Right.
Everybody else on the Dream Team had to stay on the bus because everyone would recognize him because
Right.
they're 9 foot
Right.
tall.
Right.
But he's walking through, I guess it was it Barcelona? I think it was Barcelona
Maybe.
in '92. He's walking through Barcelona, just walking with his camera with his family, and they pass a person with a Dream Team shirt with all the people's pictures on it, and he's asking questions to this woman, and his like 6-year-old son goes, "That's my dad," and points to the shirt, and she goes, "Oh."
That's my
Because
dad.
Stockton, he was like 6'1", 6'2", he just kind of blended in, and no one recognized him.
Yeah.
You know, here he was, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and no one recognized him.
Hell of a passer.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of assists.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said for people like that having some modicum of anonymity when they're out in public. You know, because otherwise you have no peace. You know, and you know, and there's two schools of people out there. There's people that see a celebrity in a restaurant on the street somewhere and are respectful and either, you know, smile, nod, acknowledge, say hello, address them properly, ask if they want to take a picture, and then there's the other people that just, you know, butt right up to them and go, sign me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's got to be difficult to be, you know, somebody with
I
that
can't
magnitude
even-
of celebrity.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it'd be like. I mean, and every once in a while, from doing the morning show, from doing some of the stuff, doing the radio show and stuff like that, people come up, "Oh, hey, are you Troy?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, thanks.
Right, exactly.
Thanks for that. I want to hug you."
Right.
You know, because it's really nice.
Right, it's flattering. It is.
It
It's
is
they pay attention. Right.
It shows that they watch the show,
Right.
which is important to us, and
Right. It validates what we do.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
yeah.
makes it so much better. It makes your day when someone does it. But I think if it happened over and over and over,
Right.
I can't imagine what a Taylor Swift goes through.
She doesn't go out in public.
Yeah. Well, she couldn't. I don't think she
You know,
could.
I mean, and if she does, you can't see her because the 5 guys that are standing around her are 6'3", 290, and you know she's hidden in a valley of meat.
Yeah.
You know, big boys that are taking up space.
Yeah.
So, and now that space is taken up by Travis Kelce. Be interesting to see tonight if they bring in Taylor's play. You know, it's too funny. So when she got the rights or lost the rights to her own music, and she said, "Well, screw you," she's doing Taylor's version and re-released everything under her own name now that she gets the royalties for and she gets the rights to it. You know, I wonder if it's going to be Taylor's play.
Yeah.
When it goes in there, if they're going to give her credit for that.
I mean, if they yell out, "Taylor, Taylor!"
You know what? That'd be too fun. You know how Peyton Manning made Omaha a household word?
Well, it's the name of his production company.
Yeah,
Is Omaha.
yeah,
So, and they asked him what it means. And I don't know. I just kind of threw it in there one time.
yeah.
And it made sense.
So, you know, can you imagine if you start hearing Mahomes going, Taylor, Taylor?
Yeah.
You know, that'd be very funny. That'd be very on brand. Yep, absolutely.
You know, but you know what that would do to Chiefs brand? I mean, it would be a big hit.
As it is. You know, I was listening. I popped on the NFL radio on the way to the show tonight, and I was listening to, you know, it was Moving the Chains with Pat Kerwin, and I forget who the other guy is. It might be Rich Gannon, as a matter of fact. And they were talking to some Kansas City Chiefs fan, and she's going, "Yeah, I'm wearing my Taylor Swift blinged out Chiefs jacket. I'm not a Taylor fan, but I'm wearing my Taylor Swift blinged out Chief." It's like, okay.
No, I mean it's helped the Chiefs. I mean it's
Brought new fans to the NFL.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And what she's done, she's worked hard for her career. And you can hate all you want.
Right.
The girl makes good music.
And she is beneficent.
Yeah.
She leaves her money every place she goes. What she did for food banks across Europe and across America with every stop on her tour is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, Blake makes fun of me. The one time I had the opportunity to have a conversation with her, I thought she was going to be a different person.
Oh, yeah?
So at Polestar Awards, I think it was 2009. Polestar Awards, Blake always flashes up when I had the Fu Manchu. So I had a Fu Manchu at the time.
Right. I know that picture.
And I was there because the amphitheater got nominated for top outdoor venue. So we were in the top 5 in the entire country. We didn't win. We lost to the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. We were way better than them.
And still
but
are.
Taylor was just getting started. I think she might have been 17 years old. She weighed like 86 pounds or something like that. And her dad was really just working the room. Her dad deserves a lot of credit for Taylor's. I mean, Taylor's amazingly talented, but where she's at business-wise, where she's at with some of the things, they signed a bad contract. They figured out how to manage that, and they monetized even beyond that. But I truly thought that same year there was a guy who was a young guy, but he had a gray streak in his head in American Idol, and his name was Taylor. I thought when I saw the list, I thought it was that dude. I just remember the name Taylor. And when this young girl came on and sang 2 songs on stage during the and what the Polestar Awards is kind of like the Grammys or the Oscars for venues. And I was like, who the hell is this? She's very talented. Very, very talented. And then at the after party, all these artists are working the room, hey, trying to get you to buy them to come to your amphitheater or whatever venue you are. So, I mean, that same night, I think I met Davy Jones, David Hasselhoff, Weird Al Yankovic, Taylor Swift, Joe Walsh, who was the other weirdo? Andrew Dice Clay. Okay.
He qualifies.
And Bernie, I don't know if I ever told you this, Blake. What was the center fielder's name for the Yankees who played classical guitar?
Bernie Williams.
Bernie Williams.
Absolutely.
He was also there.
Oh, yeah. Good guitar player.
Yeah. Amazing. He performed that night, too. And I'm telling you right now, it's one of those situations where, I've lived this weird life that, like, people don't believe half the time when I tell the stories. But it was one of those times. I loved the movie Big Fish.
Oh, yes.
And it was one of those Big Fish type nights where I was like, if I tell people aren't going to believe me.
Right.
All right. And the least popular person in that entire room out of all those celebrities was Taylor Swift.
Well, she was a 17-year-old kid whose career was just starting out. And she's leap years away from now where she was then, where she is now. But all that girl did was sit and write songs. And then she'd go out and perform them. And, fortunately for her, she became, much more astute at business.
Yeah.
Because, the advantage that was taken of her was not fair.
Well, and let me tell you,
was that Scooter Braun? Was he the bad guy in that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was part of the business,
right? Well,
you kind of sell your soul to get into the business, and then you buy your soul out.
Right.
And she was able to do that, and her dad gave up a lot. I mean, they weren't poor people. He had a good career and stuff like that, but he gave up a lot to make her career. That's a dad daughter love that.
But you know what? There's a lot of families out there, and maybe it's not Taylor Swift level, but there's aspirational families that are out there with travel baseball, travel hockey in particular. Parents of young athletes that are playing on travel teams. The sacrifices the parents make is phenomenal. They're waking up at 4:00 in the morning to take a kid to ice time at a rink, to swim practice,
swim kids, gymnastics,
driving you to cross 2 states for a tournament. The parents really do need acknowledgement for their sacrifice. Absolutely, the time involved, the lack of sleep they get.
That's a good thing
all the
for
kids
me.
don't make it. Some of them do. But all the kids don't make it.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing for me. I don't sleep anyway. So,
right, well, there you go. So, Blake, he'll drive you wherever you need to go, man.
He knows I've always had his back.
Right.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, real quick, going back to college football.
Oh, well, you had a topic tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. But we'll say, though, But there's definitely like a lot of things that are legendary about college football that aren't about the athletes. So can you guys name like one item that isn't like any athletes or any coaches that make college football legendary?
Sure, the Ohio State band.
All right, good.
Ohio State band.
Yeah, they march. They create. They march.
I don't even know who the hell. Who's the team you said?
The Ohio State.
Yeah.
Do I have to bring back up Archie Griffin? Do I need to bring up Woody Hayes? Do I need to bring up Pete Johnson from Peachtree, Georgia, and Long Beach, New York?
Is that a team?
What are they? Number 2 in the country right now?
Yeah.
Like, in what year did I?
Nope.
What year did I block out Ohio State from my entire?
2003.
So there's a trauma that we're addressing.
Do you
here.
not remember the championship game of 2003?
No, I don't.
In 2003.
I didn't have to bring it up, but it always
Lenny.
comes up.
Help me out here.
I'm going to try and get through this without being angry. The biggest atrocity ever.
A crime against humanity.
Exactly. So you know what I'm talking about. Championship game 2003. Our running back gets hurt. Walter Payton's son comes in and plays an amazing game. Our quarterback throws like 5 interceptions. We're talking about University of Miami against, what was the name of the team you said?
The Ohio State.
Yeah, that guy, those guys. Championship game. Final play of the game. Ohio State throws an incomplete pass. Miami celebrates. They have won the game. 78 minutes later. Might be a slight. No. 79 minutes later. A yellow handkerchief hits the ground. Okay, here's how late that flag hit. 2 of Miami defensive backs have taken off their pads and are celebrating the national championship. That flag hits the ground. They have to replay over again. They called it pass interference on a ghost pass interference that doesn't even exist. I can tell you this. I've made more contact with you during this show than happened during that game or during that play.
All right.
They replay it. They get it. And Ohio State wins.
Wow. Okay. Let's be real. What actually happened was so basically Ohio State.
So the other version.
Be careful with the next words that come out of your mouth.
All right. It was.
I'll take you home, Blake.
No, here. It was 24.
To what home?
It was 24.
Well, I guess mine, apparently.
Mom will accept me still. All right.
We'll see.
All right. So it was 24-17. Miami was leading 24-17. So the pass interference called happened. Well, after that happened, Ohio State got another chance. They scored. They went into second overtime. Ohio State then scored another.
The game was over.
No.
The game was over.
You guys,
It was. Did you see the play?
Yes. But you forgot.
Did you think it was pass interference?
You still forgot the most important part. You guys were on the 1 yard line, 4th down. It's second overtime, and you guys didn't convert.
That's the only time. That's the only time during the entire game that Walter Payton's son didn't come through for us.
Wow.
We had McGahee, who was an absolute beast.
You guys would have went.
He got hurt on the 3rd play of the game.
You guys would have went to 3rd overtime.
We were favored by like 8 in a national championship game, which
That's
is
a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
But I'm not bitter.
Not at all.
All right.
You're not carrying.
Whatever
this
the hell the team you just said.
All right.
I was talking about the marching band. That's all I'm saying. It was the marching band. They march and they write in script.
All right. Anyway,
cursive for you youngsters.
So my favorite the best legend item of college football is Gatorade. Invented by the University of Florida. Definitely helps athletes to this day.
Yeah. No. I can tell you right now, college football. I enjoy pro football better.
Yes.
Now.
Starts tonight.
But I can tell you right now, college football, to go to a game live, there's no other experience like it.
Yeah. Yeah, Saturday.
We're not talking Rutgers against Ball State.
Hey, I had a great time at Cornell.
We're talking Florida State.
Oh, yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
We're talking Florida, Georgia. We're talking Miami, Florida State. We're talking Michigan, Ohio State.
There you go.
We're
100,000
talking rivalries.
people. 100,000
All right,
people.
Blake, it's time to end this show because we're over. Will you please flash the greatest college football player of all time on the camera right now? There he is right there. Bobby Boucher.
Ooh.
You just can't.
Look at that gator.
Just a beef of a man. Was it Western Louisiana State? Is that what he was?
I know he's wearing gator colors in that picture.
That's not a gator. Not a gator at all. But I'll tell you this. Do you know where this was filmed? I bet you have a guess now.
I have no idea.
DeLand, Florida.
Well, there you go.
Where I started my Parks and Recreation career at Spec Martin Stadium is where it was filmed. Blake saw me almost get killed by a muscle man at Spec Martin Stadium. I picked a fight with a guy who was way bigger than me.
Ooh.
Hey, but thankfully the only reason you didn't go any further was because the three mothers in front of us just stood up with you as well.
They stood up with me too.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, no, but I was going to have to fight him. I had my son in front of him, and I was like, oh gosh, I can't back down. But I looked at this dude. I was like, I'm about to get my ass kicked. Yeah. But I mean, I was like, you're being a dumbass. There was a kid down on the ground, and he was complaining about the call, and the kid was unconscious. Oof. And I was like, dude, just shut up. You're being an idiot.
Yeah.
And the guy was all steroided up when he stood up, and I stood up, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, sir, we should talk about this, right? Yeah.
And then like three other moms stood up with me, and it was like, "Oh yeah, come on, bring it on." I got really brave at that point.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah.
You had some backup.
No, but when he stood up, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
So, hey, guess what, guys? We went a little over. We apologize, but if you would please hit that share button. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week at 6:34.
Thanks for playing our game.
Bye bye.